we've had these horrible, horrible riots going on in Minneapolis. The lawlessness has been terrible, and it's in reaction, allegedly, to the um, killing of Mr. George Floyd, who died in police custody after this awful video emerged of a police officer basically sitting there with his knee on his neck as the Mr. Floyd was complaining he couldn't breathe. The officer has since been arrested, is being charged with, I think, third-degree murder and manslaughter. So we'll see how that case pans out. The feds are looking into it as well, seeing if there were federal civil rights charges that can also be brought against the officers involved. Whether the officers are guilty of crimes or not, still an open question, in the sense that we've only seen a portion of the video, which may or may not describe fully what went on there. So this is why it's important that we don't convict someone before all the evidence is in, especially on the crimes involving the police like this, where there's such racial tension associated with it, because it was a seemingly black on white cops, although there were, I think, 2 cops of color involved in the case, and the victim, of course, is black. So what's the reaction of the radical left to suggest that the rioting that took place in Minneapolis, including now the burning down of a police precinct, is a perfectly reasonable reaction to the misconduct that the video caught? Do you think it's perfectly reasonable for rioters to go and loot cities, burn down homes, burn down businesses, put people's lives in jeopardy when they're concerned about the life of this poor man, and they're so concerned that they're going to destroy his community? Now, looking at the video of the rioters, it doesn't look like it's the community rioting. It looks like your usual mix of leftist agitators and outsiders from the community. And but riots occur, and I think it's important to remember, riots occur when political officials decide to not meet the rioters with police and law enforcement force, where the police go out, and there's a technique. I'm not a police officer. I don't presume to be an expert in riot control, but we all know enough to know that there are techniques for controlling rioting. You target the leadership, folks running the operation. You can tell in riots who are really causing the trouble and others are following, even if they are organic, as is being alleged here. So this is, again, a terrible situation for the country, because we had this terrible video emerge, and racial agitators like Barack Obama are suggesting it means that the entire country is racist, that even the altercation was race-based. There's no evidence of that yet, other than the colors of the respective colors of the victim and alleged perps. So you've got this racial incitement. You have the mayor of Minneapolis, Mayor Frey, basically say the rioting is a result of 400 years of oppression. I mean, that's just incitement. It's just incitement. And so it's no surprise that the same day that the mayor is saying things like that, rioters burn down a police precinct. Of course, the police were told to retreat. The National Guard wasn't called until too late. So all this damage to property and the rule of law could have been averted by strong law enforcement action and decision-making by the state and local officials, and that didn't happen. And so what happens is the president steps in. He sends out a tweet that says the following, in part, that these thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz, and told the military is with them all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control, but when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you. So Twitter has suppressed that tweet, left it up, but suppressed it. So if I want to, and here's the tweet, I'm going to try to retweet it. Now, if I retweet it, it's kind of blocked with this phrase. This tweet violated the Twitter rules about glorifying violence. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public interest for the tweet to remain accessible. How does this tweet glorify violence? Now, the president's opponents, and not all of them are his opponents, but the president's, some read it to say that the president's saying that the looters should be shot. I don't read it that way. I read it initially because, I did read it last night, and I thought, well, he's right. If the looting starts, the shooting starts, meaning shootings by the looters and rioters are closely connected. And of course, the reports out of Minneapolis are there's crazed gunfire going on associated with this looting. That's the way I read it. But either way, it's a communication from the President of the United States, and Twitter suppressed it. And prior to that, they've targeted Trump, by the way. Twitter is now targeting Trump with censorship. No other political leader is being targeted like Trump with censorship, but Trump is.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.